Hi guys, it's me, Susan. Today's day 11 of the Broken Heart Club. And because I think we may be getting some new people joining us to watch the show, I'm going to give a little recap, and for all of our benefits, really mine as well, about how we got to where we are today with the show, and why I think the Broken Heart Club is really the logical outcome of everything that's gone before it, and why I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to have a universal appeal because everybody who is human will be able to relate to it. That should include almost everyone who's watching. Um, okay, so to recap, I started the Cancer Club, that's what I called my blog, back in November, early November of 2013. Right after I was diagnosed with anal cancer. Fortunately, it was stage 1, and I was about to commence my chemotherapy and radiation treatments. I was expecting that these treatments would go on for about 8 weeks, and following which I would have to wait a month or two and then have a final scan to see if the cancer had been successfully treated. I decided to post a video of how I was doing and what I was going through and what I was feeling every day, both for the benefit of my friends. I wanted a kind of simple way for them to keep up if they wanted to, and spare me a little bit of time on the phone, quite honestly, but also it was my way of really sharing and often getting a lot out that I wanted to kind of get off my mind, or thoughts that I had during the experience. It has been a very, very wonderful and meaningful journey for me. But anyway, so I went through all of that, and I was coming up on mid-March was when I was supposed to have my final PET scan that was going to reveal what we all expected, including the doctors, reveal that the cancer had been eliminated. Well, I went off on a little brief ski weekend with my grandson and his mom, and in a very kind of freak accident, actually, was not hurtling down a black diamond slope or anything beyond my skill level, but I slipped and fell and broke my hip. That was March 9th of 2014. And after a long ordeal of ambulance transport and major surgery and 3 weeks of rehab in a faraway city, not able to travel home, during that time I switched my blog over to the Broken Hip Club, and for the same purpose, to share what I was experiencing and to document the feelings and I don't know, ideas, thoughts that I had about the process. It turned out to be really, really useful for me because I had a much, much more difficult time coping with the broken hip. Still am, but not as much so. It turned out to be much more disruptive to my life, created a lot more feelings of despair, depression, fear, anxiety, and I hopped right on the roller coaster and began sharing all of that with anyone who cared to watch my show. And believe it or not, I'm a psychologist. I have a private practice in psychotherapy. I help other people cope with these things all the time, or at least I thought I did. I tried to. I feel like, well, two things, kind of contradictory. I feel like I understand people's emotional experiences so much more than I ever did. I think I was a good enough therapist, but I think that I did not know really from the inside out what some of these emotions felt like. And going through them has been enormously illuminating for me and helpful in my work. But also, I feel like I have revealed, in fact, somebody sent me an email just last night saying, the old stereotype that broken people go to therapy and they go see psychologists who are all put together, that I have totally blown that one out out of the water. And the person who wrote it meant it as a high compliment, and I took it that way, because you know, I'm more human than I am anything else, and I just feel like sometimes I feel kind of vulnerable and even embarrassed that I'm just letting it all hang out the way I am. But too bad, you know. I mean, it's like a commitment I made to just hold my nose and jump in, and I'm doing that. So anyway, I've been on that. I've been on that broken hip deal for the last 4 months, and you know, people were joking with me about, like, what are you going to do next? Are you going? I was hoping I wasn't going to have another physical catastrophe to shift over to, but no. What happened, and really what has been the impetus for this, but the original trigger is almost, it's not insignificant, but it's just like the beginning of a whole new world for me. It was an emotional catastrophe at the time anyway, a relationship that I had been involved in and felt kind of serious about, took a very sudden detour, and the path that I thought I was on came to a very abrupt end. The relationship didn't end, but the path that I thought I was on ended. And initially, and I think this is also a universal truth, I felt like my heart was broken. I had an expectation of what was happening in my life or in my future. I had some kind of idea about it anyway, and all of a sudden, that was all, it was all gone. So that really led me to wonder about the experience of heartbreak, to really try to understand it better, and to see if I could tap into it. I know it's a universal experience. I know that if you've ever really loved, that probably means at some point your heart's been broken, because loss, caring, vulnerability, I don't think there's any way around it except to really just wall yourself off from life and decide you're not going to risk it, which some people try to do, but it's just stupid. So I came up with the idea of the Broken Heart Club to evolve out of the Broken Hip Club. Then I was doing some research. I decided I want to see what the definitions are: broken heart and broken-hearted and heartbreak. And the one word that felt universal to me, regardless of the specific, you know, we often think of heartbreak as, okay, a romantic relationship doesn't work out. But we think of it also when we lose anyone that we care about. There's a sudden accident, a death, an illness. Hearing the words, "You have cancer," you know, there's a heartbreak there. So the word that to me captures it all, with plenty of room to elaborate every individual experience, and this was from the dictionary, this word actually: disillusionment. Disillusionment. Heartbreak is when all of a sudden what we thought was real, what we thought was happening, what we thought was true, turns out not to be true. Lots of other things happen from that moment on, and you know, the way humans are put together, often those things end up being better or leading to growth. But the moment of heartbreak is a moment of disillusionment, and that's not. Some people say, okay, it's an illusion. You thought you thought something that really wasn't true, and it's good that you gave up that illusion. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it is. It's like if you're kind of in a bad relationship and you keep hanging in there hoping that it's going to get better, and finally one day dramatically it's proven to you that it is not. Maybe that's a good disillusionment to have. But the other thing I was thinking of is, and I've heard about this from many people, fortunately it didn't happen in my experience as a child, but the first time you're a child and your parent strikes you in anger, especially in the face, that moment is a moment of heartbreak, a disillusionment, violation of trust, and that's not a, a that's not an illusion you should really try to give up. It's one that we're forced to give up sometimes. That the people we count on won't hurt us. But so the disillusionment is universal. The fact of what the illusion was that you had, may vary. And to me, that's a way of thinking about heartbreak that allows us to relate to it on many levels and relate to other people's heartbreak as well. I'm going to go on with this in my next show. I want to share with you something that happened while I was looking. I was actually looking at my first video that I made under the Broken Heart Club, and another, how it pops up on the side on YouTube, the other videos that have similar titles. There was one called The Broken Heart Club by an actor named, I think his name is Rob Morris. I know his name is Rob Morris. I don't know if he's an actor or not. But it was, it's about a group called Love 146 that it organized to help with the rescue and the plight of sexually exploited and trafficked children. And he was talking about heartbreak and the heartbreak that he felt when he first looked in the eyes of some of these children that were being held in brothels and being exploited sexually for adult pleasure. And he said some real interesting things. I just want to mention some of these to you as the idea of heartbreak being human, part of being human. He said, "We spend our lives trying so hard to try and fortify our hearts and protect our hearts from breaking, just for fear of what might be there or what might happen next. It's the broken heart that makes us human. I celebrate the broken heart because it is the broken-hearted that end up changing the world. Only when our hearts break can what's inside really be spilled out, and hopefully what that looks like is compassion." And to me, that's the positive intention of a broken heart, is to allow you to connect at that moment with everyone, every other human who's ever been hurt in the world, and to feel the pain and hopefully to understand and be able to not even transcend the pain. We can't. It's part of being alive. The separateness that we feel when that moment of disillusionment hits, we're all alone. That's the broken heart. We're not connected at that moment, but then the feeling takes us to the next step, which is that we choose to love again. We choose to risk again. We open ourselves again to feel that same pain, because if you don't, you're not alive. And that's the ultimate dilemma of being alive, is you have to let yourself be vulnerable to feeling the pain of a broken heart. And so that's why I think this show, this blog is going to go in a very interesting direction for me. I feel like that's where my passion is, in connecting and trying to help others connect with their universal human feelings, so that they can reach out and connect with others as well. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. And that was all a long kind of lead up to I'm doing research. I'm having dreams. I'm thinking about ways that we can share our experiences and have them lead us to a more a rich and meaningful life that includes being open to all experiences and not hiding based on fear, and especially fear of being hurt, because you're going to get hurt no matter what, so you might as well just go for it, okay? So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I will see you again soon on the Broken Heart Club. In the meantime, I will remind you to live well, laugh often, and love much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.